Gabriel Jesus has finally arrived at the Emirates Stadium. What a game, to be honest. Of course, I just turned off the TV, and finally we had a very good atmosphere. You know what? It feels so good to be back at the Emirates. After pretty much 2.5 months. The last time we played the Emirates in the Premier League was, of course, against Everton, which we beat them 5-1. Today 4-2, it was it's a game filled with pretty much everything. You know what? Not the perfect score for sure, but of course a sublime debut by Gabriel Jesus, finally scoring his first goal for Arsenal, and of course the first goal at the Emirates. Hopefully there are definitely more in this season, but of course into today's game, there are a lot of stuff going on. Against Leicester City, we had a pretty good record against them last season, winning both home and away, scoring two goals, and of course they scoring none in the last season. But today's score is 4-2, kind of reflects there is still a bit of flaws into our team, but I will definitely address that later on in this segment. But of course, going to today's game, of course, we have to win this game. There's no way we are not. I mean, we were so good in preseason. We beat Crystal Palace, which is a very, very tough game to play. Of course, the morale definitely has been pretty high, I would assume. So there's no way going to today's game thinking about not winning the game, to be honest. Plus, the first home game of the season, Leicester City, I don't think there are. I think they're a team of, kind of declining in the past couple of years. Yeah, they won the FA Cup, I think 2-3 years ago. But since then, they have been quite mediocre. And of course, we all know that there's a link between Arsenal and Yuri Tillemans, and of course, Fofana to Chelsea as well. It seems like Leicester City, their squad is being torn apart at one point, and of course we gotta just address Jamie Vardy. It's in his mid-30s now. He wasn't as sharp as before for sure. The fact that he didn't score today kind of tells, there's so many his positioning off the ball is actually incredible. That's why he scores a lot of goals against Arsenal. And of course, unfortunately today he didn't, score a. Fortunately today he didn't score a penalty, and of course that was a dive, definitely bare minimum contact against Jamie Vardy. But in today's game, again, we were very, very sloppy in the first 5-10 minutes. Xhaka kind of gives away a couple of passes, which led to a huge chance to Leicester City. But thank God, Ramsdale was on the other hand to make a save. Of course, poor finish by I think Fofana was the first person who took the shot. But since then, Arsenal has been in complete domination. It's just like balls. Every time we got the ball back, we just keep pushing them, especially on the left-hand side. And of course, we got to talk about Gabriel Martinelli as well. And of course, I know a lot of people have high hopes with Gabriel Martinelli, which is totally valid. I think, first season when he came on, again, showing like he's a very big promise. But unfortunately, the second season has been pretty much frozen out by Arteta for the first half of the season. And of course, last season, Emile Smith-Rowe was clearly a better choice for the first half of the season until Martinelli came on. And remember the game against Newcastle at home, which he scores a fantastic volley. I think since then his career has to take off. His season has to take off since then, and of course it carries on into today's game this season. And of course, this guy has been so promising on the left hand flank, very, very hardworking, chasing up and down. And of course, it seems like this guy, you can tell. If there is, another 30 extra time, I don't think he will be sub off, because that's so energetic he is on the pitch, and of course the way how he motivates the teammates, the way how he plays definitely gives the teammates a great boost in terms of the performance. But again, of course, Gabriel Jesus scoring the first goal. What a great that goal, honestly, even though it took a little bit of a deflection off Johnny Evans. But you got to talk about the fact that he has the ability, he has the dare to shoot from that angle. But again, he didn't really have a lot of momentum to actually go for a powerful shot. But his clever finish, definitely worth noticing, because again, from that angle, that goal kind of reminds me of Aaron Ramsey against Everton last game day, match day, I think back in 2016, where he kind of like loops it, curls it to the far corner. This is exactly what Jesus did. And of course, great technique as well, like perfect power, just lobs it over the goalkeeper. And of course, the second goal, Jamie Vardy with an amazing assist. And again, for some reason this season, our set piece taking has been phenomenal. Scoring pretty much 2 goals, like back-to-back games where we scored from a corner kick as well. But of course, it is all credits to Jofa, I believe, the set pieces coach. But again, Jesus was right there at the right time. He is, of course, the commentator call him the poacher in the box, and this is exactly what you need as a striker. And we finally have our serious, number 9. Before we have Aubameyang, which was very good for 2 seasons winning Golden Boots. And of course, we have Lacazette as well. But unfortunately, Lacazette hasn't really been replicated his career at Lyon. But you know what? Gabriel Jesus, a true number 9, has finally arrived at the stadiums, and I can't wait to see much more of him. And starting off in the second half, of course, we started off again very high. I was thinking about whether if we want to hold on to the lead, or do we want to just kill the game by just scoring as many as possible, just to like send a message out there that, what, yes, we had a 2-0 lead, but we are still going at you no matter what. And of course, based on the capacity that we have, based on the ability that we have on the ball as well, that clearly shows that, we really have to go for it. If we want to be, top 4, top 3 potentially. Who would have thought? Because honestly, I think the 3rd place spot has to be either Tottenham or Arsenal, because honestly, as much as I hate to say this, but honestly, I really do think that Spurs might have a chance to again finish on top of us, which is honestly inevitable at one point. Spurs is a great team. Again, I hate to say that, but I just have to admit, Antonio Conte, great coach, but of course, the squad that he is building is also phenomenal as well. But yeah, and of course, going to second half, like the fact that we missed a couple of chances, I believe, prior to conceding the first goal. William Saliba, again, another great game. But honestly, that own goal was a little bit unfortunate, I think, because when you look at the replay, there's nothing much that he can do. He's trying, if he decides to let the ball play, Jamie Vardy's going to be right behind him, and he's going to score. And of course, Ramsdale was caught in a very awkward position, so it has to be Saliba. But honestly, I think that diagonal ball from Johnny Evans was pretty good. But honestly, Ben White could have done a little bit better, because he kind of got spun around by Justin right there, and of course forcing Saliba in a very awkward position where he wasn't sure, of course he wanted to clear the ball, but it was just kind of a position where he has to make a touch. He has to make a touch, and of course he made that touch, and turns out to be a no-goal. Nobody's at fault in that play. Maybe Ben White, maybe a little bit of Saliba, but that's really none of the concern. 2-1. Okay, that's the concern one right there, because first of all, in the documentary, Amazon documentary, All or Nothing, Ramsdale was really pissed about not getting a clean sheet. But this game, we have pretty much everything in hand. We have pretty much everything in our control to get that clean sheet. But it was just that unfortunate. It was just that unfortunate to concede that goal. And of course, after that, I believe within 2 minutes, you know what? I think it was a ball play by Ben White in the middle, and of course, the new number one Leicester goalkeeper, Danny Ward, newly signed as well, replacing Schmeichel, made a very very bad mistake right there. Just a very poor communication between Ward and also Fofana, I believe. So again, Ward seems to be, he has pretty much all the possession of the ball. To be honest, he grabbed it one-handed and just kind of like, it's like scooping an ice cream, just like out of nowhere, just like kind of slipped it out, and that's exactly what happened. Jesus again was right there at the right time, just kind of pokes in the middle, right back to Granit Xhaka, scoring his first goal of the season as well. I'm pretty sure this guy scores only one goal per season, but this is probably the goal where you think that, you know what, it's a special goal for Xhaka because first of all, he's a long range specialist, and scoring a goal like that is pretty rare for him, to be honest. Just kind of like a tap in, but of course, credits to Granit Xhaka to be right there at the right time to slot that one in 3-1, and of course, I think heading into 70 minutes, around 70 minutes, we made a couple of changes, of course. Ben White coming off. Ben White, I think he had a pretty okay game. And then Zinchenko was coming off as well. Oh, actually, that was before that, I think. It was, yeah, and then Leicester City scored another one. Oh, that one, it's so much talk about that for sure. It shows that, you know what, when we want to hold on to the lead, Zinchenko is not quite of a guy who gives you that type of a defensive, that defensive liability. And of course, Zinchenko is not more. He is a left back, but the way how he plays, he's more of a technician playing through the middle, inverted left back. But if you want to be if you want him to become a wide left back, or we call it a complete fullback, I don't think he is that. That type of profile player. Again, you don't blame him for that because that's not the way how he played. But yeah, the way how the goal was built up, it was all on the right hand side. It was all on the left hand side or right hand side. But again, the fact that Zinchenko kind of exposed the back line too much, where he was kind of in a very volatile position, vulnerable position. And of course, I believe Aaron Nacho kind of sets it back to James Maddison. Daka sets it back to James Maddison. And Gabriel tried to get there in time. But again, very, very poor goalkeeping by Aaron Ramsdale. Again, a world-class goalkeeper. I honestly, I certainly believe Bernd Leno definitely will not concede that goal. I'm not trying to set an agenda against Aaron Ramsdale. His distribution is definitely drilling to a lot of audience, but we gotta talk about his goalkeeping skills in general, because those types of saves, those types of opportunity that he received, it's very a schoolboy routine. And I have no clue how he just let that one in, because honestly, if he made that save, it would have been much of an easier game to play. And of course, even having a 2-goal lead at that moment and subbing Tomiyasu and also Tierney on could give us a much more of a comfort level in terms to the game, especially in the last 20 minutes, because honestly, last 20 minutes holding a 2-goal lead, it was never safe, to be honest, especially for Arsenal. Look at Man City, 4-0 against Bournemouth. Yeah, technically, it's Bournemouth, not a very good team. Leicester City, it's of course by far a better team than Bournemouth, but again, we need that domination where we just can't really concede those type of goals. Again, the own goal was unfortunate, but that poor goalkeeping by by Ramsdale has to be certainly. I don't know what they can do to improve Aaron Ramsdale, but of course I certainly do believe that Aaron Ramsdale, in terms of that aspects of his game, will certainly improve. But this season he really do have to step up. He really do have to make more saves. Of course, distribution for him is a big part of his game, but his saves has to be his reflexes, reaction, all those type of basic old traditional goalkeeping skills has to be on top in order for us to have a chance to win the Europa League, or even trying to claim a top four. That's all we want. And of course, after that, Martinelli definitely deserved a goal. Literally 1 minute and 40 minutes. 1 minute and 40 seconds, scoring the fourth goal. And at that moment, you think that the game is pretty much over. Again, you kind of we gave Leicester City a bit of hope, and 2 minutes later, you just kind of just kill the hope right there. That's what Arsenal was trying to do throughout the whole game. But Martinelli, again, a great player as well. Just very energetic again. He was the one who won the ball back. He was behind Partey, Odegaard, Jesus, Saka, and he sprint all the way back to right outside the box, giving an option to, I believe, giving an option to Martinelli in the end. But what a great finish with his left foot again. He doesn't score a lot with his left foot. And that one certainly one of the best goals he scored for sure. And of course, it's nice to see Tomiyasu back in the lineup. Of course, replacing Ben White seems to be nibble a little bit. Hopefully, Ben White's going to be fine. And Ketia again almost had a chance to score. It would be perfect, to be honest. His role, the fact that he's not quite complaining about lacking minutes in the Premier League since we have Jesus. The fact that he comes on for 10-20 minutes makes a huge difference, especially in this season, for the last last few games of the season. Last season, he actually made such a great impact as well. And of course, you can arguably debate his first half of the season, in the last season, in the middle part of the season, where he came on pretty much did nothing. And Smith Rowe, of course, great to have him back. Again, nothing much to talk about. Doesn't really show too much on the pitch, but of course Fabio Vieira we could have a chance to see him, but apparently he is not quite fully fit yet. And actually, you know what, right now, since we're talking about individual player, let's kind of go over the players, which I always do. Ramsdale, again, it's just it's unfortunate not to get the clean sheet for sure, but of course, the second goal, the way how he conceded that one, it's definitely a deal breaker right there. Again, I know a lot of you guys might be, might not agree with me, but Ramsdale and Leno, two different profile player. But again, if Arteta wants to play football in the way how Arsenal wants to play, or how he wants to play, Ramsdale clearly is a better choice. But goalkeeping wise, it's just really tough in that category. But I certainly believe if we somehow find a goalkeeper who is very good at distribution and very good at with his hands, certainly Aaron Ramsdale would not even have a place at Arsenal. I know I'm being harsh, but I really genuinely do hope that he's going to improve for sure, because again, our second choice goalkeeper, Matt Turner, different caliber of player, American goalkeeper, he only had a MLS experience. You never know what type of players that he has. But of course, Americans tend to produce great goalkeepers. Tim Howard, Brett Keller, Brett Fiedel as well. So yeah, moving on to right back, Ben White. I think he did all right. Nothing noticeable, to be honest. It's just the first goal we conceded. Again, could have done a little bit better, but otherwise had been quite solid. The back right there. Hopefully he's fine. Saliba again, another solid performance by him. Again, it's just very unfortunate for him not to get the own goal. Otherwise, very good composure on the ball, very calm on the ball every time. You know what? He was just kind of every time when he has the ball, he just kind of like lure the attackers in. You know, like that moment when the attacker had like one step forward, he decided to make a pass, and those passes that he had, like those like gap passes to Gabriel, was again pinpoint as well. He seems to be like, he's 21-year-old, but he seems to be playing, you know, in the Premier League for a long run. Feels like it, but you know what? He still has to prove us in that way. Gabriel, again, another great performance by him. Very physical. Just kind of shutting Jamie Vardy down. Again, I don't think that was a penalty. Going back at it. Zinchenko, again, a very good player. Technical wise, again, every time we push the ball forward, you give it to him, he always find ways to find gaps in the middle, and of course doing a lot of link up plays between him and Martinelli, and of course with Xhaka as well, which is fantastic to watch. But again, defensive wise, not that caliber of player, so I'm gonna let that one slide. Partey, again, had a few missed passes, but in general had a very solid game. Granit Xhaka is a very funny one because, again, I don't think he played very well in the first 5-10 minutes. But certainly, again, his speed is definitely a liability, definitely not part of his game. But he worked so hard to infiltrate the defensive line from Leicester City. And he did that a couple of times where I believe there was a pass from, I think it was from Partey. And then Granit Xhaka was in pretty much. But again, his speed was just kind of letting him down. But I think in general, Granit Xhaka has a pretty good game. But, you know, since Yuri Tielemans right there, Yuri Tielemans is definitely that type of player that can replace Xhaka day in, day out, especially in that position. Again, Yuri Tielemans is so attacking minded. Again, in this game, he didn't show much. He's pretty much very quiet throughout the whole game. But honestly, of course, I do know that the fans are singing, "Oh, Yuri Tielemans, you'll be with us, you know, next week." Hopefully that's the case, but at the same time, the transfer saga between Arsenal and Yuri Tielemans is going to go on for another, I don't know for how long, but definitely another weeks. Hopefully we secure him as soon as possible, because again, I think he is a very good player, especially in the system that we're playing. He's definitely going to shine in that position. Moving on to Odegaard, again, very quiet, seldom making a little bit of a, you know, very good play, good passes as well, but nothing stood out for sure. Yeah, I think it's just happened, he has more responsibility. He still works very hard though, off the ball, constantly urging Saka, Jesus, or even Martinelli to push the defensive line a little bit. And Saka, again, seems to be very quiet, to be honest. Yeah, he did have one shot towards the end, but Jesus missed that open goal. But I think in general, Saka didn't really have a lot of didn't really have a lot of possession in general, because again, I feel like what we're doing right now is we shift everything to the left hand side, and clearly Martinelli, Zinchenko, and Xhaka definitely dominated that left hand side of the pitch, and seems to be the most productive out of every area of the pitch for Arsenal. So that's why Arsenal keep exploiting that area. And Saka, unfortunately, on the other hand, just kind of just didn't quite work out in today's game. But I'm sure he's happy that he got we got a win. And Martinelli, again, another great player. I keep emphasizing him. I feel like this is the season where he shines. He signed an extension last season. Again, a great player, very unpredictable to his run. Definitely, he improved so much with his dribbling, with his vision. He's not just like those type of headless chicken, just like looking down. instead of looking up. Well, he did look up a lot of times in today's game, giving him a little bit more options. Finishing skills definitely improve. Dribbling skills definitely improve as well. I mean, the fact that Fofana committed a foul against him shows how much Martinelli has improved. And Gabriel Jesus, again, man of the match for sure. Two goals, but definitely have a chance to score 2 to 3 more based on what happened today. But again, I really do hope that Jesus is going to continue his form throughout the rest of the season. Again, I think his winning mentality, experience, and his skills ability definitely bring a lot of joy to the fans, and of course bring a lot of success to Arsenal. And right now we're 2 for 2 for the game. I believe we are currently at second, I believe so. Man City won 4-0, so I believe Man City is at top right now. And right now Man United is playing. It'll be interesting. So I think I'm gonna go and watch that. So yeah, thank you guys for listening or watching. Actually, it's more of a listening thing. It's kind of like a podcast, as I said before. I mean, thank you guys for listening to my thoughts. Hopefully, a lot of you Gunners agree with the way how I see the game. You know what? I know a lot of Arsenal fans sees the game differently, sees how different situations differently, or player performances differently. Definitely do leave a like, well, not leave a like, leave a comment down below the at the comment section. You know, in terms of how you think about the game, and of course, if you guys agree with me, love it. You know what? Let's start a discussion. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this another match day review session. I love it a lot. You know what? It gives a lot of freshness in this channel, and of course for me as well. The fact that, you know, I still remember the majority of the game, which is nice. So yeah, I will see you guys in a bit. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I will leave my Twitter down below in the description. Definitely do check it out. I don't post that often because I only have 3 followers, but you know what, if I certainly get if I get more than 10, I might start posting. But be sure to follow me if you guys you know, want to know more of my perspective of the game or Arsenal in general. So thank you guys for watching, listening. I'll see you guys in a bit.